To write code for C++, you will need a programming environment that contains a text editor and compiler with a debugger. There are several free options available, but for this tutorial we will use Microsoft Visual Studio C++ 2008 Express Edition. Microsoft Visual Studio C++ 2008 can be downloaded free from their website at www.microsoft.com/express/download/webinstall. Once you're at their website, follow the download instructions provided by Microsoft by clicking on Download and then clicking on Run to install the program. Although Microsoft Visual Studio is a free product, please remember to register the product or it will become inactive after the evaluation period ends. Once Visual Studio is successfully installed, open it up and then choose File, click on New, and then click Project from the main menu to create a new project. In the New Project window, choose Win32. In the Templates window, choose Win32 Console Application. Finally, name your project and click OK. Type in Hello World for this example. Location is where you want the project to be saved. For this tutorial, we will leave the default location as it is. Then select Next on the Welcome to Win32 Application Wizard. On the Application Wizard, make sure that Console Application and Empty Project are chosen. Click Finish when you are done. Make sure that your Solution Explorer window is visible on your screen. To make it visible, go to View and then choose Solution Explorer. Now, right-click on Source Files, then select Add and then New Item. Choose C++file.cpp in the Templates window and then name your file. Click Add when you are done. Here we use the name main because this file will contain the main part of our program. The main.cpp window is where we'll begin typing our code. Inside the main.cpp window, type the following lines of code. It should look similar to this when you are finished. After typing in the code, we need to build our solution. Click on Build, then Build Solution from the menu bar. If you type the code correctly, in your output window near the bottom of your screen, you will see the following: Build 1 succeeded, 0 failed, 0 up to date, and 0 skipped. If your output window is not visible, click on View and then Output. If you did not type in your code correctly, you will get an error message at the bottom of your screen. Click on the error window at the bottom of the screen to view the error. If the error window is not currently displaying, click on View, Other Windows, then Error List from the menu Tools bar. In this example, the error indicates that we have a semicolon missing before the closing bracket on line 6 in our code. If you go to line 6 of this code, you will see the closing bracket, but if you look at line 5, the semicolon was left off at the end of the statement. Correct this error and the program will work. If the line numbers are not displaying, click on Tools and then choose Options from the menu Tools bar. In the Options window, click on Text Editor. Then go to C/C++ and click on General. In the General window, make sure the line numbers box is checked. If any changes were made to the code will need to be built again. To view the results of this code, click on Debug from the menu bar, then choose Start without debugging. Congratulations, you've just created your first C++ program. Now let's figure out what you just did. The first line of our code is called a preprocessor directive. It tells the preprocessor to include the contents of the IOStream file to our program. The IOStream file contains the declarations of the C++ input-output library, which is required if you plan to do any input or output. This includes commands such as cout, which outputs data to screen, or cin, which inputs data from the user. The angle brackets around the IOStream file name can be replaced with double quotes, but brackets are traditionally used with the files that are distributed with C++, and double quotes are used for user-written files. Most user-written files are often identified by their .h file extension. Namespace allows us to group global classes, objects, and functions together under one name. Using namespace std at the beginning of our program prevents us from having to type std throughout our code when using standard commands. std is required before using all standard commands if we don't use namespace std. All programs must include a main function. The main function is where all programs start their execution. Most functions generally have the following syntax: the return type of the function, then the function name followed by parentheses, then an opening bracket, and then a block of code that does something, followed by the return value, and then a closing bracket. The first line of the function is called the function header. It tells the return type of the function, the function's name, and if there are any parameters, which are values that are expected to be passed to the function. The return type of a function indicates what type of data the function is expected to return. Here, in this example, our main function is not expected to return a value. When using void, you would get an error message if your function returns a value. The function body here in this example does not return a value. It simply prints the message in between the quotations to the computer screen. In this example, our main function is expected to return an integer value. This main function returns 0 if it functions correctly. The return type of a function indicates what type of value or data the function is expected to return. In C++, there are keywords used to represent different types of data. The int data type takes up about 4 bytes of memory space on most computers and represents an integer value. Some examples are 3, -23, and 8,998. The char data type takes up about 1 byte of space, and it represents a character value. Some examples are A, U, and Z. The bool data type takes up 1 byte of space and represents a Boolean value. It can take one of two values, true or false. The double data type takes up 8 bytes of memory space and represents a floating point number or decimals, such as 4.3 or 89.23. The parameter list of a function is enclosed within parentheses following the function name. The parameter list consists of variables separated by commas along with their data types. A parameter list that is empty means that the function does not contain any parameters. The function body is contained within a set of opening and closing curly brackets. Most compilers are not very particular about spacing. Therefore, the open curly bracket will often be placed on the same line as the function header. A block of code is made up of different statements. Each statement ends with a semicolon. Leaving the semicolon off will result in a runtime error. The program exits when it reaches the closing curly bracket of the main function. The press any key to continue statement is what is shown when the program reaches the end. When writing your program, you may often want to leave notes indicating what a particular block of code does. There are two basic ways to do this using comment lines. The single comment line begins with 2 backslash lines followed by the comment. The comment line can be written on the same line as the code if it is short enough. All information after the backslash lines are ignored by the compiler. If the comment line is too long, then it can be placed before the block of code. Multi-comment lines begin with a backslash, then a star, followed by the comment, and then ends with star, then backslash. All information inside the backslash star and star backslash will be ignored by the compiler. Remember, comment lines are ignored by the compiler. They are not required, but are often used by programmers to help explain their code. This concludes the C++ Basics for Visual Learners demonstration tutorial. For more step-by-step illustrated tutorials on the basic C++ concepts, including a step-by-step tutorial on creating your own console game, go to www.crashcourse.com/C++.